Check these two things out. You ever seen anything like this before? You know, as I take my earphones off here, it is now the 6th day of spring here in Wisconsin, and you can probably hear the birds chirping. Maybe not, but the 6th day of spring, and we got pounded with snow last night. And although we may have 1 or 2 days of the snow only, I was walking by in the garage and I thought, you know what, these two snowmobiles need a video done. And although it is spring and the warm weather's coming, these are way too easy to pull out and get running to make a video on. The year was 1978, and the Chrysler Outboard Motor Division actually got assigned an assignment by the United States. That's right. The United States Army actually came to the Chrysler Motor Division, Outboard Motor Division that is, in Hartford, Wisconsin, and they wanted something that their soldiers could put on their backs that was light, good on gas, could go for miles in the snow, haul gear, you get the point. So anyhow, 1978, Chrysler comes up with this, the Chrysler Snorunner. Now, before I go too crazy in depth with this, I'm not actually going to go that in depth with it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to just talk real quickly about these. It's going to be a watered down version of the history on these, and then we're going to go ride them. However, if you do want the full history on these things, I'm going to leave a link down below. And the person who runs the Snowrunner website is incredible. They have parts. He's got the history, which I'm going to leave down below. And if you want to read every single little thing about this, he does an outstanding job explaining it all. If you want the watered down version, here it is. The United States Army wanted something light, like I was saying, good on gas, could carry around, get soldiers around. And the Chrysler Outboard Division came out with this, the Snowrunner. And what happened was, in the end, it was essentially a complete flop. Now, why was it a complete flop? So, Chrysler almost got everything right. I'm just going to say, for 1970s, this is way too cool. It is essentially the Honda Moto Campo of the snowmobile world. Now, what do I mean by that? So, the United States Army, they wanted something that could be broken down and put onto a back. Chrysler did it. So, there's actually pins located around this entire snowmobile that you can pull apart, and it collapses, and essentially you can put it, and I'm going to say this with parentheses, on your back. Now, although it is an aluminum frame, plastic skis, a rubber track, an aluminum motor, this thing is still pretty dang heavy at the end of the day. You can easily pick them up and carry them around, but to put them on your back and go very far, it's pretty dang heavy. So, although Chrysler got that right, it was still a little too heavy in the end. That's not the only reason why, though. They hit the gas mileage right on the heads. You can fill this thing up. You can go all day riding this thing. The tank's built right into the frame. You can go for miles on this thing. It's a little two-stroke. It's going to get you around. It's going to get you places. They nailed that right on the head. Cushiony seat. It was comfortable. What was the killing factor of the Snowrunner? The killing factor of the Snowrunner is that it does not work in deep snow. How sad is that? So you go out into these remote areas, you're going to have deep snow. You're going to have snow up to your waist. You know, it's going to be deep. What happened with the Snowrunner is, think of a chainsaw. So chainsaw, when you go through wood, you go right down through it. It cuts through the wood really fast. This is exactly what happens with the Snowrunner. So you get deep snow, you get deep powdery snow, and you go to hit the throttle, and all that back does is kick down and just eat right through the snow. You go nowhere. So essentially, it was a complete flop. The experimental Snowrunner failed. The United States Army wanted nothing to do with it. So what did Chrysler do? They had this great idea. They had a compactable snowmobile. You could put it in the back of your car. It was light, good on gas, and all in all, it pretty fast. I mean, you can go pretty quick on these things. What do they do with it? They have it built. They got it done. They sold it to the general public. That's right. So you could go to an outboard division of Chrysler, and they had these on display, and you could go and buy one of these. You could go pick one up. And although it sounds like it was a great success story, ultimately, from my knowledge, 1981 was the last year of sales for these. So 78, the United States Army didn't want it. They made it for the mass market. You could go out, you could buy one of these. 1980 rolls around. Sales are not picking up. 81, they completely pull it, and they liquidate every single one of these SnowRunners. But the funny thing is that the liquidation company that bought all these SnowRunners tried to resell them cheaper, and all they did was put a Snow Rabbit sticker over the SnowRunner. And that's it, and they marketed them as Snow Rabbits. So if you find a Snow Rabbit, you could peel that sticker right off and you will see the SnowRunner sticker right below it. But before the operations completely seized up, Chrysler did try to change things up. The mass-marketed SnowRunner, they tried to compact down. Now, what do I mean by that? It had a pretty thick head gasket in it. It had a restrictive muffler on it. Very small carburetor on it. They compacted it down, essentially. But what they did towards the end is they came out with an HP model, obviously standing for horsepower. And what they did is they made that head gasket very thin, so it raised the compression. They changed the jets and the carburetor, from my understanding, and they put a very non-restrictive muffler on it, the HP muffler. It boosted the HP on these. You got more speed out of them, and in the end, still it didn't make it. People didn't see the price tag for them, and they just couldn't compensate buying one of these things. Also, I should note that somewhere in between there, Chrysler did come out with a yellow SnowRunner. If for some reason you can find one of these, pick it up. It is, from my understanding, the rarest Chrysler SnowRunner that you can find. So if you can find a yellow one, you should scoop it up because they're very hard to find. Now, I named this video for a certain reason because, in my personal opinion, this is one of the best failed vehicles, I think, that was mass-produced that you can get cheap and have the most fun on the snow with. Now, why do I say that? You can get these things for under $1,000 all day. I think I picked these up for $400 a piece. I bought $200 tracks from snowrunner.com, a $30 carb kit, cleaned the tanks, and literally the same day I was riding. Their generator ran, so they don't have batteries. Their pull start, they're so basic. They have a headlight, tail light. They got an emergency pull rope that's stuffed into them. The actual seat holder is a spark plug wrench and a flathead, so you can just pull that out and literally work on it with all the tools right on it. So I think you guys get my point. This is, in my opinion, one of the most fun you can have on the snow for being cheap. How do they drive? Well, I guess let's go find out. Whew. Remember in the beginning of the video when I said you can go all day riding this thing on one tank of fuel? Well, that may be true. But I forgot my tank was filled up to about here. Well, that's gonna do it, folks. Whew, I'm out of breath pushing this thing back. I'm tired. I'm glad I was able to get one of these videos off on my lunch break. Like I said, this snow was so unexpected. Easter's literally in like a week. So very unexpected. I'm glad I was able to get these things out and make a quick video. I'm sorry it was quick, probably my shortest video yet, but really? Anyhow, thanks for checking out the video. I will see you in the next. If you can get one of these things cheap, you and a couple of friends go and get them. You guys will not regret it. Cheap to maintain, cheap to run. So much fun. You guys can take these into actual remote areas that are compact with snow. Somewhere easy to take them. You will not regret it. So much fun. Thanks for checking out the video. I will see you in the next.
Now you can warm up the winter with the all-new Snowrunner by Chrysler.